We're not repeating Germany's history right now. We're repeating our own.
I absolutely love this creator's take on what we're experiencing right now in the United States by framing it as an American Revolutionary 2.0 versus a American's version of Germany, and what framing Donald Trump as Hitler and his sycophants as Nazis. And I'm saying that because you have to be careful for those words on social media trigger certain things. And I invite you to go look at the creator's full video. It's really well done and well thought out. But for the most part, she warns those people who are framing what we're going through in that way by distinguishing it. And she uses a book. You'll look at her video and see the book that she's using as a reference point, and by saying what's distinguishable from the United States is that we have been here before, and the difference between that era and this era, United States Revolutionary War, American Revolution, was because when the settlers came in, there was large chasms between the poor, which were plentiful, and the elite aristocrat socials, and people were getting angst towards them. So what they did is channel some of that energy and angst and hate towards them and frame an enemy in the king and say, we're trying to get rid of the tyranny of the king and taxation of representation, and bottle all of that angst and channel it away from them towards the king. So once they separate themselves, the colonies become independent, they can then go and continue their grifting and amassing wealth at the expense of the poor working class people. And that's the theory. And they said in the United States, we're having a similar thing in that the billionaire wealthy class that at one point shunned Donald Trump have always used, and have always, especially the Republicans and that party, believe it or not, with the modern version of it. So don't come in my video telling me, well, the Democrats and Republicans, knowing the Dixiecrats flipped, people always use that same thing. But anyway, the modern version of Republican cause for a long time, not really been about creating policy for the people, but instead have been channeling, getting the poor folks and identifying for them a scapegoat for their problems. So minorities, people of color, in more recent years, it's wokeism, it's DEI, it's trans community, it's rights for marginalized communities, immigrants, it's migrants, it's federal workers, it's the elite class, is the schools, the universities, the people force you to mask. Those are the reasons for your problems, and hoping that will work, and it has worked. And with this new revolution, they said is different because in the Nazi Germany, she hypothesizes in her video, again, go watch it. She says that was a homogeneous society, and also that era, it was really popular, like Fidel, Fidel, but Adolf was very, very popular, and that whole thing was like actually a great movement. People loved that. They had a common enemy in the Jewish people, but for the most part, it was popular as compared to the United States, where orange man represent, I've always say this, 22% of the population, and the people who they're saying to channel your angst towards aren't just one king representing the elite. The people actually represent the majority. So you're talking about people's neighbors, folks, the business owners that have been here for years and years and years, our kids' best friends, the guys who delivers our food, the workers, all the folks, people, moms in drop off lines who've lived here for decades and decades. That's who they're saying. The 22% who are MAGA are telling the world, your problem is these goes. Russell Vogt infamously said he wants to make the federal workers villainized. He wants to make them the enemy. That's not working. That's balancing. That's definitely not working. People are like, no, we like the people. We like the government we have. We're not interested in a Christian, narcissist, whatever, Christo-fascist sort of new government. And you throwing out the Constitution. It's clunky. There's ways far and breeze, but we like it. And we were fine with it. And we like our neighbors. And we don't want you to be tackling our neighbors. And that's not what we had in mind when you said you were deporting the worst of the worst and insane asylums. We don't see those people. What we see on TV is this. So the people who they've created as the enemy for this Revolutionary War Part 2 is not going to work, because those are our friends or neighbors. And so you're not going to get the same situation as Nazi Germany when everyone hated the same person or everyone's popular. Donald Trump is very unpopular. He's underwater in all of the the polls. He's is tanking faster than fast. He's delusional. He's not all there, cognitively declined, because he has, it seems to us, advanced stages of dementia, perhaps some levels of Alzheimer's. He's fallen apart. We see it before our eyes, and he's being puppeteered by Russell Vogt, the Project 2025 folks, and then the technocrats, the Curtis Yarvin, Peter Thiel. There's lots of different factions of people who have different varying interests, and that's why they're uncoordinated. And I don't want to I digress. But the point is that it's not the same, because we have the enemy who they want to classify as an enemy is not going to work. We just don't have it. There's diverse people. The other thing she mentions in her theory, in her thesis, is that we have more power than in the past. And I would add to this, I think social media, which people from that era, Germany, 1920s, they didn't have that. So if the propaganda that was used to promote this group, this is what we're doing, we're all moving, they believed it, because you didn't have folks with social media with cameras showing this is what's really happening. When they say they're going after the worst, you didn't see that. Now you're saying, no, that's a mom in the drop-off line. These are kids. That's a grown 200-pound man tackling that little skinny woman, and they're just rattling on people. And this is terrible. And it reminds me of the civil rights era. A lot of things, the reasons why the United States government decided to embrace civil rights wasn't necessarily because they all of a sudden had a consciousness to help out the marginalized people of color, Black folks. No, part of it was television, that this nation that was saying it was the best nation and it had all these rights and it was just a wonderful place to be, the American exceptionalism. Instead, you had them broadcasting them sicking dogs on the Black population. Again, people always say that Nazi Germany learned to what the United States did to the Black folks. You had that being broadcast. And so German people saw that. And the United States were like, oh, smack, we look bad. Let's change these things. So it's the media, it's the image, the PR. We know that Chrissy Knowles don't go anywhere without her camera, which is great. Keep giving us the receipts. So when we have the Nuremberg trials and we have to round up your ICE agents and throw you, thanks a lot for that. But Donald Trump is a master. He's all about mastering and harnessing the media and creating those headlines. And that's the whole shock and awe, to make you scared, authoritarians, because the headlines, all the stuff he's doing, and people just like, oh my God. But here's the thing, and what she says in her thesis also that's really great. She reminds us that, for an example, is when Brendan Carr from the FCC threatened to pull the license of, something, and then all of a sudden Disney and pulled Jimmy Kimmel, and they lost billions of dollars in like a few days. They were like Uno reverse. Think about Target. Think about the fact that we were able to remove Elon from politics through the Tesla boycotts and just the anti-Tesla movement, the Target boycotts, what's been going on. The fact that because of the town hall meetings, Joni Ernst and several other Republicans realized, oh my God, I will get primaried by my own people. I don't have to worry about Elon money primarying me. I have my own people who told me I'm not going to win this next election, so I might as well get out of politics. So we have been able, through our town hall meetings, through the protest movements, through boycotts, economic boycotts, to show we have more than we have the power. We have capacity. We have the ability. There's more of us, so that revolution is why we should feel more empowered than we are, and that should help you stop with this defeatism. My biggest frustration is people who say under my comments like, it's authoritarian, our country is gone, we're not coming back, all these things they say. They say, if we're ever going to have elections again, and what are you talking about? The other thing I like to say is the Montgomery Bus Boycott lasted 381 days. Black Americans in this country, I'm an immigrant, but I'm a cultured Black American, but I appreciate and value Black Americans in this country have been resilient. They've gone through redlining, they've had Jim Crow, they've had the effects of enslavement, the Reconstruction era, continuing ongoing discrimination, and still they rise, and still powerful, still inventing things, still just showing up, still creating culture. There's the people are obsessed. I mean, there's another video I have another time, to the extent to which other cultures come and they try to commoditize, copy, ridicule, do everything, but they're so obsessed with these people. And that says the extent to which they are powerful, despite the fact all these things have happened to them, and they're still resilient. They've checked out because someone once told me, what are you doing in terms of helping, and we don't need you to do content, we just need you to give us a plan. It's kind of, we gave you a plan. Kamala Harris was our plan. We told you not to vote for this guy y'all voted for anyway. You didn't want to disrupt Thanksgiving dinner or didn't ruffle feathers with your MAGA relatives, and they voted, and now we have this. So what the hell you want me to do? You're like, I told you the plan already. So Yeah, so that was a brilliant takedown. I love it. I recommend you guys watch it. But for the most part, it's like, yeah, we can do this. We are stronger. There's more of us than them. That's the biggest thing. And we have power. We have economic power, and we have political power, and we're gonna win this. And yeah,